Doesn't it feel good to know that most of our digital conversations are safe? That they have been provided the highest level of end-to-end encryption is even better. No one can decrypt them and find out what we were saying. All good. But what if I told you that there was a plan to disrupt democratic process, another one to rob a bank, and yet another one that was revealing critical information regarding India's defense forces? What if I told you that all this cannot be prevented because the information is also encrypted using the same tech that is protecting our private conversations? It seems this is the debate that has our social media and WhatsApp groups buzzing with all kinds of information. In February, the Indian government created a set of rules updating the Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code. These new rules put out some guidelines that messaging and social media platforms have to comply with. Just recently, Facebook-owned WhatsApp moved the Delhi High Court, saying that a traceability clause in the new rules is unconstitutional and infringes upon a user's privacy. Now, here is when it gets slightly tricky. The right to privacy is fundamental, but so is the duty of law enforcement agencies to protect Indian citizens, or the fundamental right to security. This means preventing crimes from happening or swiftly bringing to justice those who perpetrated them. Trickier still, WhatsApp's new privacy update, when interpreted loosely, would have the app sharing user data and trends with its parent company, that is, Facebook, but only for the purpose of advertisements, preferences, and the like. But when it has been asked by the government to put in a mechanism that can be used only in exceptional and legally substantiated cases to access data pertaining to the origin of messages that impede national security, the app is playing the victim card. Firstly, let me clear the air. A large number of messages have appeared on WhatsApp saying that the government wants to spy on us. No, it does not. Only and only when it is absolutely necessary to trace origins of data, and only if it is legally justified may the recommendation come in force. But this is true. No right, be it fundamental or otherwise, is absolute. It is a framework that allows our constitution to function in tandem. But that means a balance needs to be struck here too. In a day and age when technology has advanced much faster than what we anticipated, we require concrete solutions rooted within a regulatory framework. Therefore, the debate that only one, encryption or national security, should exist is baseless. We need both, and we can strengthen both. However, that would require reconfiguring some aspects, which does not seem to sit well with WhatsApp. In order to comply with the norms put forth by India, the app will have to design an India-specific version, which brings us to another important question. How long until the vulnerabilities created by technologies such as E2E encryption are exploited for criminal activities? Doesn't this preemptively solve the problem nations across the world will face if they aren't already? Let's look at precedent. The leader's statement on countering terrorism from the 2017 G20 summit in Hamburg had a resolution. A part of it reads, "We encourage industry to continue investing in technology and human capital to aid in the detection as well as swift and permanent removal of terrorist content." It further states that a step like this would require collaboration from the industry for legal and non-arbitrary access. Those are keywords for removal of terrorist content. It is important to note the standing of the G20 group, 19 countries and the European Union. How can we keep our commitments towards counter-terrorism and security if the industry refuses to cooperate? Similarly, in an official European Union document allegedly leaked, this problem is addressed at length. It is observed that even when the access required may very well be within the legal framework, a non-fingerprinted encryption would render the information useless. And with it, any efforts of law enforcement in an increasingly digital age. The same arguments, the same requirements, yet no concrete solution, only because the industry doesn't want to cooperate. The debate has raged on in the USA, Germany, France, Brazil, Australia, United Kingdom, Japan, Austria, Canada, and now India. Interestingly, all countries have spotted encryption in the technology's development. It is now difficult to understand why it is being seen as a hindrance to privacy. Every new technology evolves with the needs of the times it is present in, be it cars, power, defense, or connectivity. Similarly, this need to set up access mechanisms for law enforcement expressly within the legal framework is an evolutionary process. To take this step preemptively will help create better protection of users through a robust national security framework. A regulatory structure may be designed to restrict this access to exceptional circumstances only in order to provide the same assurances for user privacy. To delay this change would inevitably lead to the addition coming a little too late, if at all. Keep watching New India Junction for more insights into politics, current affairs, international relations, culture and lifestyle. Remember to stay safe and stay healthy. Dhanyavad and Namaskar.